Welcome back. In this video, we're going to discuss essential factors to consider when choosing a camera lens. After watching this video, you will know exactly how to choose a lens for your specific use case. Buying a lens is arguably more important than buying a camera. You can have a high quality camera, but if you have a low quality lens, your image will look bad. Alternatively, you can have a lower end camera with a really high quality lens and still achieve great looking footage. The first thing to consider is focal length, which in digital cameras is the length between the camera sensor and the lens. This is usually measured in millimeters. It plays a crucial role in determining how the lens will capture images. A lower focal length like 12mm produces a wider image, whereas a higher number like 200mm will be very close and narrow field of view. When looking at buying lenses, it is ideal to have a good range of focal lengths, but not essential. It's more important to have focal lengths that you'll use often. Wide-angle lenses are ideal for landscapes, architecture, and real estate, as they make everything appear more spacious. If you're planning to film with a gimbal, a wide-angle lens also helps hide imperfections in stability. When I film property, for example, I always use my 12mm on a gimbal. Be careful though, as not all lenses are created equally. Most super wide-angle lenses will create fisheye type look, which is not desirable in most cases. I specifically bought this 12mm lens from Laowa because this keeps the vertical lines in my shots straight and avoids any fisheye-like distortion. Portrait lenses are usually between 85mm and 135mm. The human face actually looks its most flattering between the focal lengths of 70mm and 100mm, so if you intend on filming a lot of people, I advise having focal lengths within that range. Zoom lenses are very versatile because they can change quickly from wide to close-up shots. Lenses like the Sony G-Master 24-70 are popular among videographers and content creators alike, as they often find that the focal length range is sufficient for them. In fact, the two focal lengths I use most often when filming my own content are 24mm and 70mm. Telephoto lenses are essential for capturing distant subjects such as wildlife or sports if you can't physically get closer to your subject. A telephoto lens allows you to zoom in without losing framing. I personally do not own any telephoto lenses as I don't film anything that requires me to have one. If I did need one though, I'd probably rent the Sony 70-200mm. There are also macro lenses, which can be any focal length, but they enable you to place something really close to the opening of the lens and still grab focus. If a lens is not a macro lens, then it will not be able to focus on things that are really close to it. These are often used in product photography and videography, or for those super close-up shots of the eye you would have seen. When you're searching for a lens, you'll often see the focal length in millimeter and then next to it an f-stop number. The f-stop number refers to the aperture value, which represents how wide a lens can open its diaphragm. The smaller the f-stop number, the wider the diaphragm can open, and therefore the more light that will be let into the camera. This is of course crucial for low light performance and filming in dark places in general. Lower f-stop also allows for beautiful background blur known as bokeh. Some lenses have variable f-stops, which means if you zoom in, the minimum f-stop changes. For video work, fixed aperture lenses are preferable as they maintain exposure levels throughout the focal lengths. Next, evaluate the lens's image quality. Generally, higher priced lenses offer better sharpness and clarity. However, brands like Samyang and Sigma provide excellent quality options at lower prices. Prime lenses are fixed focal length lenses which often outperform zoom lenses in terms of sharpness. The first prime lens that I actually had was a 50mm, and when I first started shooting weddings, it was the only lens that I used. It's a great lens and they call it the Nifty 50 for a reason because it can be used in such a wide variety of situations. This feature is helpful for handheld shooting, reducing jitters and creating smoother footage. We've already covered this in the how to choose your video camera video. Just make sure that the internal image stabilization of your camera works with the image stabilization of your lens, which leads us onto autofocus capability, which is very similar. Good autofocus is vital, especially when shooting alone. Canon and Sony excel in this area, while again brands like Red may lack advanced autofocus features. Just because you have autofocus on the lens does not mean it will work with the camera. So if you want to get the best out of your camera and the lenses, make sure they both have in-body stabilization and they both have autofocus. Consider how the lens fits in your setup. Heavier lenses might require stronger support systems, especially if you're using a gimbal, shooting handheld, or using camera mounts. If you plan to shoot outdoors or in challenging conditions, look for lenses that resist dust and moisture to ensure that they last for a long time. Another thing that I look for when buying a lens is the filter thread size. So when purchasing a lens, you'll be able to see on the rim of the lens, in this case on the Sony lenses, you can see that it's the thread size of 82. Therefore, every filter that I would buy would need to be a thread size of 82 to fit my lens. Usually, people buy lenses that have the same filter thread sizes as each other so that they can use their filters on all of their lenses without buying a filter for each lens. Lenses that have more blades in their diaphragm can create smoother looking bokeh, enhancing the aesthetic quality of your images. Just like cameras, be aware of newer models coming out, as older versions may offer better deals but can depreciate in value when a new version is released. Focus on what type of content you'll primarily shoot and choose accordingly. A well-selected lens will serve you for years to come. And there you have it. Now you know the different types of lenses that exist, what they do, and how to choose one for yourself. Have fun with it, and if you have any questions, you know who to ask.